Greetings to all. In an age of digital development, governments are both made and broken through it. Today's segment will be a key highlight to the emerging role of digital governance within the country. It's my pleasure to welcome Jayesh Ranjan Sir, who is a member of the Indian Administrative Services, back to the Kootiniti. Jayesh Sir is currently serving as the Principal Secretary to the Government of Telangana. So, my first question to you would be, how would you explain the model of Twitter governance, which has been in talk for some time now? Would you also cite an example whereby this model has helped the government to assist people who have been in distress?
So, sure, Arijita. First of all, thank you for having me in the show. See, we look at Twitter as a very quick and effective medium of getting in touch with our citizens, our stakeholders, taking into account any issues that they have, any concern that they want to raise, and then respond effectively. So, when you say Twitter governance, this is just an additional tool, but a very useful tool that we have found out. And let me mention this, that it has been popularized by our Minister for IT and Industries and Urban Development, Mr. K.T. Ramarao. He's someone who is extremely technology savvy, and being the IT minister, he felt that let us open a direct channel with the people of the state, and therefore he started a Twitter account. We made it popular, but when people realized that he responses to their needs, he takes into account some feedback and suggestions they gave. He has conducted lots of Ask Me Anything sessions, and many of the issues which people have raised have actually translated into action. So then the credibility of this whole governance system has gone up. And the other important thing about Twitter governance, as you speak about, is that the high levels of accountability. So, for example, if any person raises some issue about an industry, let us say he complains about a polluting industry, and this is an actual example. Since you asked for some examples, I can also give you many examples about COVID relief, which are very important. But I can give you an example of my own subject. I'm the industry secretary, as you know, and I remember I guess this happened a couple of years ago. One person raised a Twitter post mentioning that he notices some kind of polluting activity being conducted by an industry, and the minister immediately tagged me to look into this matter. Now, when we did some kind of when we checked with the pollution control board on what is the track record of this company, are the compliances in place, on paper we found that everything is in order. Everything looked quite all right. But when we actually sent teams to inspect, we did notice a foul smell coming. We noticed that there is lots of groundwater contamination, and of course we took action. But the important point is that because the minister has now tagged me, all this is happening in the public domain. People know that minister has picked that issue, that concern. He has asked me to take action on it, and obviously if I don't take action, it's a matter of lowering my accountability or weakening my credibility. So that is one very important thing. So when I mentioned that Twitter is one yet another input, this is one difference of Twitter governance between other inputs. So it is not to say that people don't reach out to the government in other ways. I mean, even in this day, in a digital age, I still receive, the minister still receive letters which are kind of written in ink on paper, which have been posted in a letter box. We also get those letters, and we give equal importance to them. But of course, as you would understand, the follow up, the accountability, the public visibility of this kind of a transaction. If someone wrote a letter, first of all, he himself will not know whether his letter reached me or not. And till I kind of acknowledge or if he has left any phone number in the letter, my office calls back. So this is one difference between Twitter governance and other forms.
My next question to you would be that in a growing age of miscommunication, which is largely spread through social media platforms, especially Twitter and Facebook, does the government of Telangana have any proposal to address this drawback?
We started this during COVID times. In fact, wave one, as we recognize it now, there was lots of confusion and lack of clarity, unreliable information, etc., etc. So we actually started a fact-checking portal, and any news or any kind of information which we noticed is spreading on social media, It could be Twitter, it could be WhatsApp, it could be Facebook, Insta. We had a team of back-end researchers available who would verify what is happening and whether there is any truth in it or not. And first of all, we will post that on our fact check portal. We popularized our fact check portal, and lots of it used to see lots of traffic during those COVID days. And if something was unsubstantiated or clearly untrue, we will speak about it. We will give a press release. We'll also alert Twitter, the administrators of Twitter, that some very serious falsehood is getting spread. So we do have a fact check mechanism which was used very, very effectively during particularly the first and the second waves of Twitter of COVID. It is not relevant anymore, I guess, because people are quite aware and by and large the COVID scenario is under control. But we know that such a possibility is there. We have proven it. And suppose there is some other occasion when some kind of a blatant falsehood or lies are being spread which jeopardizes public order or there is some kind of threat to civil life, we'll definitely make use of it.
My last question to you would be that there are not many tech-savvy people, and also most of these problems are seen in rural India. So, how do you plan to take this very model of Twitter governance to rural India?
Arjita, you have raised a very valuable point. This is the larger issue of digital divide. And I, for one, am very, very concerned about it. In fact, much more than digital infrastructure or doing anything else, I personally feel that governments should completely focus on digital divide issue because we knew when digital world started becoming more and more kind of strong that some kind of divide will happen, but that it will happen so rapidly and so blatantly is something we had also not anticipated. So digital divide is very real. It is actually staring us in our face, and if we don't arrest it, we are bound to. The country is bound to miss out on the full potential of its citizens. So in Telangana, what we do is that you are right in saying that not everyone is tech savvy, not everyone has access to devices, but we are bridging it in a couple of ways. One is that we are creating digital infrastructure right in the doorsteps of the people. So in a matter of, we are in April now, so in a matter of less than a year, I can say this for sure, in less than a year, every household in Telangana will have digital connectivity. You will have reliable broadband to your doorstep. But more than that, as I mentioned, it is like the old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but can you make it drink? So I can provide connectivity till your doorstep, but are you? But am I sure that you will use it and you will make best use of it? So what we are doing, particularly since the last 4 years or so, is to roll out a series of technology-enabled programs that actually address some very pressing pain point of the common citizen. And for example, agriculture. Most of the rural livelihoods are supported by agriculture in Telangana. So we have rolled out a large number of agriculture focused tech solutions. And now we are showing to the people before their eyes that look, before you had this technology, you used to struggle, your productivity used to be low, your returns would be lower. But look at now, we have given you this solution, this app, this technology, and your productivity has gone up, your production has gone up, your incomes have gone up. So we are creating a strong buy-in for technology from such people, and I'm very sure that when the accessibility, the connectivity goes to every household, more and more people will start using digital, and then they will recognize that reaching out to the government is also very easy, just a tweet away. And in the interim, by the time everyone gets digitally savvy and buys or invests in devices, the interim solution, which again is something very interesting and very unique about Telangana, is what is called assisted methods. So in every village of Telangana, we are setting up a kiosk, a digital kiosk, where a woman entrepreneur from the local village will be available to guide you on how to make use of digital. So if you want to make a utility payment, you need not own a device. You need not wait for connectivity to your home. You just have to go to that common center and pay your bills or read some documents or download some documents. And obviously, if you want to raise some issue, point out to some grievance, etc. And if you want to do that through Twitter, that person will be able to assist you. So I feel that this is the way forward, that you assist people first in understanding technology, mastering technology, because many of the people in the rural areas obviously have not gone to higher education levels. they don't have access to latest devices, and therefore their familiarity with a tool like Twitter is less. But someone can assist them to become familiar, and the model that we are instituting in Telangana is that this assistance will be provided by a local person, that to a woman. So the familiarity, the credibility, the kind of ability to understand what this person is telling is much higher as compared to some outsider or some government functionary coming. So we firmly believe that Twitter governance will help us improve our outreach to the people, help us in respond to emerging needs, and also get a good sense of what the people are thinking about, what is their feedback about government programs. It's only a way which improves our ability to perform. But at the same time, we are aware about the possibility of spreading lies, falsehoods, misleading statements, and therefore we have some checks and balances in place.
Thank you so much, Jayesh sir, for being with us today. I'm sure it's going to be valuable to our viewers. And the Kutniti is going to promise to bring to you more such information on current topics and international relations. So keep following the Kutniti for more details on international relations and diplomacy.